Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while since you've heard from me. I'm here at AMS Performance this morning, along with Billy and our friend Stan. The reason we're here is because we've got the R8 with us, and you know we've recently done some work on this. We've developed an exhaust system as well as our max ram air intake, and we're getting ready to tune it on the dyno and see what the results are. So join us as we go ahead and take this field trip day away from the shop to see what our new products can bring. We're excited to see what this platform has in store for us. Let's go. So we're here in the back of the shop, just getting things strapped down on the dyno. The weather has turned a bit cold for us, which will help us with the numbers, but man, it's chilly. So we're just trying to hunker down here as they get themselves situated, getting the car set up for loading maps and making changes. We're just waiting patiently for that. They gave us a bit of a tour over through the fabrication area, as you probably saw earlier on some of the B-roll. They've got quite a large operation here. They recently expanded their fabrication operation, and they have, I want to say, what, 8 or 10 bays of guys that are fabricating all their components. So they've really got an assembly line going, and they know how to get things moving quickly, which is really nice to see, because we're starting to produce more products, including products like the intake system here that we're tuning today, as well as the exhaust system. And you always want to learn from others that are more experienced in how to produce product faster, more efficiently, at a better price, and get it out the door quicker to a customer. So a lot of respect goes out to the AMS team here. Just getting ready to get things started, so here we go. Okay, quick update for you guys. I know we said we were just getting started, but apparently when they are doing a tune or a flash on these cars, and in case you guys didn't know, this is something I did not know, but learned recently. These cars run off of dual ECUs. There's actually 2 of them, and they would normally just pull them off the car and do a bench flash, because there's a lot of tunes that are out there already for this platform. But because of the uniqueness of the intakes, we want to actually see what we can get out of them additionally, which requires us to put it on the dyno. And in this case, when they want to connect to the ECU, they sometimes can get away with actually being able to connect to it without having to remove anything. But we tried doing that, and unfortunately it seems as though it does not want to cooperate, and we do need to remove them in order to get access to them. So we've got the panels off right now, and they're working on removing the ECUs, which have some safety screws in them. For now, we're just letting them work on pull those out, and we'll be back in action as soon as we get access to the ECUs. Ooh, what do we have in here? What do we have in here? A Supra? A90 Supra. This one looks like it's getting some work done to it. Based on the logos, it looks like this is probably their shop car. It's got a new manifold, what appears to be a titanium exhaust on it. Pretty cool. So while they are working on pulling the R8 ECUs out, Billy and I decided to take a quick tour of their fabrication area. They recently acquired this building and have been using it for both fabrication as well as for boxing up their items. They're like a well-oiled machine here. Say it again?
Logan Corwin. I got a YouTube channel.
All right.
Say about Mustang, my buddy. It's called Two Valve Racing.
All right, there you go. Check them out. All right, so they've got both of the ECUs out right now and they're on the bench. They're getting ready to load up the base map tune and then we'll be able to get started here. right, so we have made many dyno pulls at this point. So far the data is really good. From what I understand, these cars usually make about 500 horsepower to 520 based on what the modifications are and what kind of fuel they're running. He said if we can make somewhere over 215, that'd be really above average, because the highest horsepower car that they've ever had on this dyno was 520 horsepower for a V10 non-turbo R8, and that guy was on race gas. They're checking all the data to verify this, of course, and he's gonna send us over everything bundled up so that we can really give you guys a layout of what the data is to back up all the numbers. But if all goes well, on the next few pulls, if we can get about 520 or so, that would justify on 93 octane being the highest horsepower NA R8 that they've had yet. And at a shop like AMS Performance, that speaks volumes. So waiting on them making some more changes with the ECUs. One thing is they had to pull them and make another adjustment because I don't know what the right term is, but I think it was something to do with like a verbal style tune, because it was doing a lot of crackling and popping. They gave that a shot. Didn't seem like the car was liking it very much, so they pulled them back off. Gonna make that adjustment back to where it was, put them back on, make a few more pulls, and we should be all set. All right, everyone, so the results are in, and the final horsepower is 515 horsepower and 404 foot-pounds of torque, which is great. Now, what does that mean for us? Ultimately, they're compiling the data, and if the data is correct, well, if their memory is correct, based on the data that they're going to compile to verify that, this would be the highest horsepower NA R8 that's been on their dyno. There may have been one other car, but that car was on race gas, and it was on a day that was in the middle of winter. So that's some great news, because being the highest horsepower 93 octane car means a lot in the terms that these intake systems are actually working. So couldn't be more happy with the results, and we'll be bringing you guys more data here later in this video. We are back at the home shop here with the R8. It's a little bit quieter without the wind in our face, to provide a summary here, but I did want to send a special thank you to our friends over at AMS Performance for helping us out with this today. They don't typically deal with the Gen 1 R8s anymore, just because of the fact that it's a little bit of a hassle for them to pull out the ECU in order to make the changes that they need, when the newer generations that they have a lot of demand for are simple when it comes to pulling them out or being able to just plug right in and make them change. But given the fact that we had developed some new products, they were kind enough to go through that hassle with us, and ultimately in the end they agreed that the results were worth it. So thank you guys again for allowing us to do that and also helping us with it today. We had some conversations in the background. It looks like we'll be doing some work together, and I'm looking forward to that. So with that being said, that concludes the results on the intake and the exhaust system that we developed for this R8. If you have any interest in them, feel free to contact us via email. You can send us a message on social media, give us a phone call. We are retailing those products, and we are happy to serve your needs. So without further ado, there's a summary coming on our social media page, and I'll go ahead and make sure to provide it on the channel as well. If not in this video, in a later video, I'll summarize it. But essentially, AMS told us that they have all the baseline numbers as well as a collective group of other R8s that they've dyno tuned in-house. And based on that information, they believe that this is the highest horsepower, naturally aspirated R8 V10 that they've had on their dyno. The only other one that made more power without a turbo was on race gas, and I think it was only 520 versus the 516 that we made on this. So I think those are significant results, and once we compile the data that they're looking into, we'll be able to verify that and compare it for you guys. But this was ultimately what I wanted to show. First, that the intake system does work, and secondly, that the exhaust system is unique in itself in the way that it sounds. It's hard to justify that through video. Most of these things don't really justify themselves through video. You got to hear them in person, but you can hear the crackles, you can hear how nice and mild it is when you're not getting crazy on the throttle. But as soon as you get full throttle and your high RPMs, you can hear every bit of the engine, which I love. So I'm happy with the results. Now I need to just get the Evo finished this year so we can get that on track. And we'll probably be doing some quarter-mile runs with this car very soon to help validate the performance on this. But be sure to leave your comments and what you think below, and we'll catch you here soon.
Look at my pretty stuff that I made. Come and buy it, Billy.
Billy, is this like your dream right here? Just endless bottles of argon?
Yeah, dude, look at these full tags. These are perfect.
Yeah.